Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie's Wrestling Color Podcast right here on YouTube. Thumbs up the video, subscribe, join me on all my social media. I'm going to try to put the links where they need to be so you can just click it and join me and follow. Comment. I need y'all to comment more. I would like to get y'all feedback on the things that I post so I know if I'm doing what's good, doing what's bad. I want y'all to be a critic for me, please. I'm asking you. Bad or good or indifferent. What else? And just do all the things over here at Wrestling Color Podcast. Let's go ahead and get into this comment because Kenny Omega's out. Kenny Omega is a New Japan legend. He's been wrestling since 2000 apparently. I had no idea Kenny Omega was 40 years old. He looks older than that. Maybe because of the wear and tear on his body and his face makes him look older. He's out with according to Fightful, diverticulitis. He went ahead and posted on his Twitter that he no longer is going to hide what he got going on, and he's going to be out indefinitely. He went as long as he could, but the pain was too much for him to bear, and he had to go take care of himself because that shit hurts. Okay? What's diverticulitis? Real quick. I just want, because a friend of mine had that, and from my understanding, diverticulitis is basically that like your intestines and stuff get inflamed, and the little pockets get filled up. Like, think of it like a pimple. You know how you get a pimple and the ingrown hair or whatever dirt's in your pores, and it gets inflamed, and then until it busts, and then it'll leave a scar, or if you're lucky it won't, whatever. So diverticulitis is basically small bulging pouches, which is called diverticula, and it develops in your digestive tract, and when one or more of these pouches become inflamed or infected, that's when the condition is called diverticulitis. If you eat certain foods like fruits, dairy foods like milk, yogurt, fermented foods, including kimchi, onions, garlics, Brussels sprouts, if those things, the little particles or whatever, when the body does its job to get nutrients, gets into your diverticuli, and you're not supposed to be having that, it will inflame, and your stomach and shit will hurt. You get constipated, and you're like going through it. Severe cases, you may need hospital care and surgery. Doctors recommend high fiber diet after recovery, so now you're like really like got to pay attention to what you're eating, and it's really restricting to the point where you can't even like some salads you can't eat. You could barely drink certain drinks. Like, you have to really be on it after diverticulitis. Surgery usually isn't necessary, but there are exceptions. And if abscesses have formed and the treatment if they give you antibiotics doesn't work, then they have to go in and cut these things out. And the abscess is just a big pus sac that hangs off. You can have an abscess anywhere. That's your body's way of telling you shit ain't where it need to be. So now that we got that medical minute out the way, what are we talking about? So Kenny Omega has gone through a whole lot of surgery. He said he had knee surgery, shoulder surgery, he had hernias, he had a groin surgery. Like, he's been pretty fucked up, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows that he wrestles hurt, he tries to push through, and all of this shit. When does the booker, the CEOs of these companies say, you know what, enough is enough? I know famously we had Cody Rhodes wrestle with a torn pec, which doctors say is not a big deal, because if the meat's off the bone, I mean, it's pretty much nothing we can really do. But he went out there, he wrestled, and everybody really just was like, oh man, he's such a cool dude, he's doing it for us, and all this bullshit. When honestly, he should have took his ass home and went to the doctor. All of them do that. We had Triple H blow out quads and shit, and he's still going to try to get through the match. We just had Charlotte Flair She's going out with injury. She hurt, which I think she hurt herself during that terrible ass moonsault, and it just got worse after she hit her leg on the rope. But she pushed through the match, and in the professional fashion, I get it. But when does having someone who's injury prone and probably fucking crazy and doesn't really take their health in consideration, when do you say no, you can't do it? I honestly think Kenny Omega probably tells Tony Khan, like, don't worry about me, I'm gonna handle it. Or he'll go back there and get some of them numbing shots they like to give people so they could push through, and then go deal with it afterwards. Like, we all seen the documentaries, we all know what they're doing. Tony Khan was asked about Kenny Omega's injury and what he thought, and there was just something that he said when he started stuttering that I find where he's probably lying, and he knew Kenny Omega wasn't no good and was going to let this man continue to push through. The most important, this is what he said, and I quote, the most important thing is he got help from doctors at the right time and didn't wait any longer because he's in a lot of pain, and I don't think we knew how sick he was, or nobody would have wanted him to be honest. I'll leave that to him. See, he had to pause and shit. This is the part. Nobody would have wanted him to. You would have allowed that man to wrestle if he gave you some type of, I don't know, oh, I'm cool, I could do it. And you're like, are you sure? Are you sure? And it's like, yeah. I think everybody knew this man wasn't no good. But you're going to get everything you get out of him because the AEW audience has a very high level of bloodlust, if I can say. Kind of like the issue with Daniel Bryan and his orbital bone, the eye bone, okay? It was broke and he was still out there wrestling. Everybody's like, well, what the fuck is going on? Why is this man wrestling like that? Especially people are really like wary of Daniel Bryan because he's like hurt his neck and all this other shit, and the motherfucker's tender. He ain't no young whippersnapper no more either. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that, but he's 42 years old, right? So he, I'm 42. We get our bones and shit is getting a little bit tender. You got to slow down and stuff. You waking up and pop locking and shit when you stretch and you looking around like what's going on. Like, I woke up bruised and I don't even know what the fuck was going on. I don't even know what happened. That's apparently, my older friend said that's just what happens. You go to bed and you wake up and you banged up and you don't even know what the fuck is going on. Anyway, so Okada did not injure Daniel Bryan. While the injury is very much real, it occurred at a different time, specifically during his match with Andrade on Collision the Saturday before. So he already knew his shit was broke and he was out there wrestling, and everybody seemed to be annoyed by that. And now he's out there wrestling with an eye patch because he just got to wrestle. This is, if you watch Daniel Bryan on Total Divas, he went into like some type of depression because he couldn't wrestle, and it really annoyed his wife, Brie Bella, annoyed her because she was like, well, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Find something else to do. And he's just like, I just want to sit here and be sad and watch wrestling. Like, leave me alone, bitch. But wrestling is his life, and I think that he probably told Tony Khan, like, yo, I'm cool, I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do. Now he's wrestling with an eye patch. I just want to know, when is the booking going to book more with the health of the wrestlers in mind and not what the wrestlers want? Because if you leave it up to a wrestler, they're going to kill themselves in the name of legacy and, I don't know, accolades and wanting to stay at a level where they're still in the minds of the audience and keep the push that they get and all of these different things. So that's the question. If you made it this far, do you think the bookers need to book more with the health in mind of the wrestlers and not so much as, we got to get this story told. If you go out there and get fucked up, fine, and we'll just make adjustments, because AEW has been making too many adjustments because their wrestlers are always getting fucked up. So I wish him luck, and hopefully they can get that diverticulitis in order. But I really wish people would be mindful of their health. Kenny Omega doesn't have children, but a lot of these wrestlers have families and children and shit. And don't nobody want, let's just be honest, no one wants to have to get ready to patch up their husband and, you know, fucking he walking around like an invalid. It's like nobody wants that. So you tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll hit you up on the next one. Later.